boarding this airline, and different locations as well. One was a woman in London, and I just posted a video by a guy named Joe where he just returned home from Florida, and he also used air transit as well. And he actually reads part of the form into his camera, so it's a very interesting video to watch. And what's very important about this, refusing the Arrivecan application before you get on the flight, is if you don't provide your information, there's no way for them to issue you one of those tickets. Okay, so then when you arrive in Canada and you stand your ground and you refuse to speak to public health, once again, they cannot coerce you, they cannot detain you, they cannot do anything to force you to speak with public health. Any interaction with them is strictly voluntary. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it's voluntary, okay? If you have handed your passport to public health, it's voluntary. So if you're in a situation where the CBSA officer is handing your passport to public health after the customs process is done, I have an avenue for you to pursue. It's called filing a complaint, and it's very effective. So I'm looking at the complaint form right now. I've posted the link to access this direct page in my bio, and I'm going to share it in my stories. But it's a very simple form, okay? It starts with feedback type. Gives you 3 options: compliment, comment, or a complaint. In this case, we're going for complaints. It'll ask for your first name, last name, preferred language of communication, and your contact information, email address and phone number. It then gives you an opportunity to write your story. What happened to you at the border? So everyone who's taken the time to write me, this is what you need to be doing. Writing them, and here's why. An officer gets to work and immediately has to sit down. The superintendent has to schedule a time for them to respond to your complaint. They have to sit down and they have to justify everything they did. In writing, they have to state which act they were acting under, what authorities they had to do whatever they did to you, okay? It's a time-consuming process, and then you will receive a copy of their statement. Perfect. This is evidence for you to bring to court. For one, I can guarantee that most of these officers are going to have no idea what to write. Most likely, they're going to fall under an act of parliament called the Contraventions Act, and it's about as weak as they come. So for those of you who are terrified to defend yourself in court, rest assured, don't be. There's a good chance a judge is going to read one of these nonsensical statements and just withdraw the case entirely drop it, okay? I have yet to hear of someone being found guilty without just voluntarily checking off at that form. Yeah, early resolution and paying. So wonderful avenue for you. With regards to the form for air transit, I don't know where to find it. I haven't been able to find it. So far, the closest I've come is that video that Joe posted where he read the top page of the form. So as soon as you sign that form, the airline will allow you to board, which makes sense. This is what I've been saying from day one. The airlines are scared of repercussion from us, okay? But there will be no repercussion from us because we cannot deny a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, a person registered under the Indian Act, a foreign worker under a lawful foreign work permit, study permit, whatever. We cannot refuse you entry for not complying with this nonsense. This is not a law. This is not an act. This is a mandate. There is so much red tape. It is unbelievable, okay? So thank you for everyone who has stood their ground, who has taken their time to write me their experience. And just to add to what I just said, you know, there's a lot of concern about, well, what information is on my passport? Your home address is not on your passport. Where you are planning to self-isolate is not on your passport, and your telephone number is not linked to your passport either. So, if you stood your ground when boarding a flight, and you stood your ground at the airport and you refused to speak with public health, which yes, you can do. They cannot handcuff you. They cannot detain you. There will be no arresting you for failing to speak with public health. You can ignore them and treat them like they're invisible. If you've done that and then you receive a knock on your door, whether it's from the RCMP, a local police unit, or a local health unit in some cases, file this complaint. Use this form, okay? Submit your complaint, because where was the authority to disclose your information? Where was the authority to just share this information? They would have had to contact a police service, use their records to find your home address linked to your driver's license, and it's very, very sneaky, okay? Very, very sneaky, and we need to get these people